June 23rd, 2016. It should have been an ordinary Thursday in Nairobi. A human rights lawyer, his client, and their driver left a courthouse on the outside part of Nairobi, just a typical day in their long fight for justice. But by nightfall, they had all vanished. No calls, no clues, no bodies. 8 days later, the Athi River would give up its secret. 3 waterlogged sacks, inside, the bodies of Willie Kimani, Josephat Mwenda, and Joseph Muiruri. Tied, broken, and dumped like refuse more than 100 kilometers from where they were last seen. This is the story of 3 men, an activist, a lawyer, and an innocent driver caught in a web of brutality, silence, and betrayal. A case that exposes how far corrupt officers could go to cover their tracks and the quiet courage of those who choose to speak out. Welcome to Buried Voices, where we uncover true crime and mystery stories from Kenya and beyond. In every episode, we aim to deliver balanced and factual narratives while honoring the dignity of victims and respecting their loved ones. Please note, this story is based on publicly available reports, media coverage, and court documents. The case of Willie Kimani, Josephat Mwenda, and Joseph Muiruri has since been concluded, with several individuals convicted and sentenced in 2023. Our goal is to present the facts as reported and to honor the memory of the victims while respecting all parties involved. If you find value in these stories, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss a case. Willie Kimani Kinuthia was born on April 21, 1984 in Kenya to parents Paul Kinuthia and Elizabeth Wambui. From an early age, he demonstrated a strong sense of justice and empathy. He pursued his legal education in Nairobi, earned his law degree, and joined the International Justice Mission, IJM, in Nairobi as a human rights lawyer. There, he became a board member of Right Promotion Protection and was an active member of the Law Society of Kenya. At age 32, Willie was already a rising star, known for his unwavering commitment to defending the powerless and his ability to engage with both courts and communities with compassion and integrity. Colleagues remember his disarming smile and his firm resolve to stand up for those abused by state forces. Off duty, he was a devoted husband to Hannah Wanjiku and a proud father of 2 young children. His family life grounded him and fueled his mission to build a Kenya where victims of abuse could speak out without fear. Josephat Mwenda made his living as a boda motorcycle rider in Mlolongo township, an everyday hero providing transport to residents along the crowded Nairobi suburbs. He was known by his regular customers for his friendly yet focused demeanor. He was also steadfast in his integrity. On April 10, 2015, a routine traffic stop by an administration police officer, Frederick Leliman, turned violent. Leliman opened fire, hitting Mwenda in the right arm during a police inspection in the Mlolongo area, for reasons that still remain disputed. According to court documents, on 10th April 2015 at about 2 p.m., Josephat Mwenda was riding a friend's motorcycle as a passenger. They were riding a road near the Kimmani chief camp where they were stopped by administration police officers who were dressed in civilian clothes. From the affidavit sworn in support of the application, it was not clear what happened after the two had been stopped. What was, however, without doubt was that Mwenda was shot in his arm by one of the administration police officers. The said police officer transported Mwenda to hospital and thereafter placed him in police custody. He was subsequently charged with 3 criminal counts of being in possession of narcotic drugs, gambling in a public place, and resisting arrest by a police officer. The injury was so serious and life-altering that his job and income as a rider was badly affected, and the physical pain forced him to stop working. Josephat did not retreat. He formally reported Leliman to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, refusing to accept police injustice. Shockingly, after he made the complaint, people started spreading lies about him. He was arrested several times for fake charges, even though he was hurt and could not work. After the administration police officers based in Syokimau's chief camp became aware that Mwenda had logged a complaint of the shooting with IPOA, they applied pressure on Mwenda to withdraw the complaint. The pressure was relentless, but Mwenda maintained his determination to have the shooting and his subsequent arraignment before court to be investigated by IPOA. With a view to further persuading Mwenda to withdraw the complaint, the same administration police officers on 13th December of 2015 arrested Mwenda in the wee hours of the night. The administration police officers threatened to shoot and kill Mwenda unless he withdrew the complaint logged with IPOA. When he refused to withdraw the complaint, Mwenda was charged with 6 counts under the Traffic Act. He was charged with riding a motorcycle without a helmet, riding a motorcycle without a reflective jacket, carrying excess passengers, carrying uninsured passengers, riding an uninsured motorcycle, and riding a motorcycle without a driving license. According to Mwenda, all these charges were fraudulent and malicious. This was all done to make him drop the case, but instead of giving up, the constant harassment made him even more determined. The intimidation and harassment of Mwenda did not stop there. On 16 February 2016, after attending a session at Mavoko Law Courts, he was picked by 2 men who alleged they were the Directorate of Criminal Investigations officers. He was again taken to Mlolongo police station and interrogated on allegations that he was involved in a robbery where violence was alleged to have been used. No charges were made against Mwenda. It was this incident that eventually prompted Mwenda to seek assistance from the International Justice Mission, IJM. In early 2016, Mwenda reached out to International Justice Mission, a safe space for people suffering from police abuse. That's where he met Willie Kimani, a brave and smart lawyer known for fighting for justice. Willie believed Mwenda's case was not just a one-time event, but a part of a bigger problem with police abuse. As they met over the weeks, they two became not just partners, but friends. It was a powerful duo. The sharp lawyer and the humble boda rider, brought together by their belief in justice. Thursday, 23rd June 2016 at 9:30 a.m., Willie and Mwenda arrive at Mavoko Law Courts in Machakos County, which is about an hour drive from Nairobi CBD. They are here for a hearing meant to challenge one of those fabricated charges. Joseph Muiruri, a reliable driver IJM often hires, waits outside in his silver Toyota. At 12:04 p.m., court adjourns. The trio exit the compound, unaware that a civilian police informer, Peter Ngugi, is watching. Ngugi calls his boss, Frederick Leliman, at Syokimau AP camp to inform him that the target is on the move. At 12:20 p.m., near a railway crossing in Syokimau, two cars trap Muiruri's taxis. Armed officers pull out all the three men, cover their heads, and force them into a police van. People nearby think it's a normal arrest, but it's actually the opening move of an extrajudicial killing. At 1 to 5 p.m., the three men are locked in a hot steel shipping container at Syokimau AP camp. The heat rises. They are beaten, questioned, and mocked. Their phones are smashed and their documents taken. With every passing hour, the hope of finding them alive fades. Back in Nairobi, a quiet panic began to grow. Willie Kimani's family could not reach him. His phone was not going through. His wife tried calling again and again. Josephat Mwenda was also silent, and Joseph Muiruri, the driver, was nowhere to be found. His car, a silver Toyota Fielder, had also disappeared. At the International Justice Mission office, Willie's colleagues were getting worried. This was not like Willie at all. By that evening, local police stations just to confirm if Willie or Mwenda had been arrested. But the police said there were no records, no names entered in the occurrence books. This answer only made things worse. Lawyers and human rights workers gathered outside the central police station asking for answers. They demanded to see CCTV footage from Mavoko locals. Still, there was no clear response. After 2 days, the story hit the headlines. The Law Society of Kenya and International Justice Mission held a press conference. Kenyans on social media began to speak out. Hashtags like Find Willie were everywhere. Newspapers wrote about it, radios talked about it, but the Ministry of Interior gave only a short statement. They said they were investigating, but many did not believe it. On the morning of July 1st, 2016, which was the 8th day into their disappearance, fishermen near Oldonyo Sabuk along the Athi River saw something floating. It looked like a big torn sack. It was heavy and tangled in reeds. They pulled it to shore, and inside was a body. The hands were tied tightly with a rope. Later that day, 2 more sacks were found. Inside these sacks were the bodies of Willie Kimani, Josephat Mwenda, and Joseph Muiruri. After the bodies of Willie Kimani, Josephat Mwenda, and Joseph Muiruri were pulled from the Athi River, Kenya was in shock. People were angry and they were demanding for justice. The pressure on the police was intense. Posters were on the streets, lawyers were boycotting courtrooms, social media was flooded with questions. Who killed the 3 men and why? The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, began working fast. With the help of IJM and other rights organizations, detectives started connecting the dots. One of the first breakthroughs came from mobile phone records. Cell site data showed that a police van linked to Frederick Leliman and a burner phone used by Peter Ngugi had traveled the same path, from Syokimau, where the victims were held, to Oldonyo Sabuk, where their bodies were dumped. Forensic teams were sent to the Syokimau AP post. They searched the metal container where the 3 men had been locked up. Blood samples were collected. Lab results later confirmed the blood matched the victims. At the same time, detectives traced the vehicle used in the abduction, a Nissan Wing Road registered to Leliman. It had been seen following Muiruri's silver Toyota on the day of the disappearance. Inside the boot of Leliman's car, investigators found rough fibers. Those fibers matched the same material used in the gunny sacks that were pulled from the river. They also used a chemical called luminol, which can show blood that's been cleaned up. It revealed faint bloodstains inside the metal container, even though it had been washed. The evidence was overwhelming, and so, on July 2nd of 2016, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior at the time, Joseph Muiruri, announced major arrests. Frederick Leliman, Corporals Stephen Cheburet and Sylvia Wanjiku, Police Constable Leonard Mwangi, and civilian informant Peter Ngugi, all five were charged with the murders of Willie, Mwenda, and Muiruri. Peter Ngugi's confession later stunned the country. In court, Peter Ngugi made a confession. It was too cold, it was too detailed, it was disturbing. Ngugi said he wasn't a police officer, but had worked as a police informer since 2011. In June 2016, he was recruited to help with a hit job organized by officers based at the Syokimau Administration Police Post. The main target was Josephat Mwenda, the boda boda rider who had dared to report a police officer after being shot. According to Ngugi, he was told by Frederick Leliman that Mwenda wanted to get him fired and that Mwenda was getting help from IPOA, and therefore, he needed him dead. Leliman believed that killing Mwenda would solve everything, but he didn't stop there. The lawyer, Willie Kimani, and the taxi driver, Joseph Muiruri, were now witnesses, so they all had to die. On June 23rd, Ngugi trailed Mwenda from Mlolongo to Mavoko Law Courts. He watched the court session and saw Mwenda walk out with a man in a suit and a taxi driver. Ngugi made the call. He told Leliman, "They are out. He's with two others." Soon, the three were blocked near a railway crossing. Officers pretended it was an arrest, but it was an abduction. The three were taken to Syokimau AP camp, not into a cell, but into a metal container used illegally as a holding cell. No entry was made in the official occurrence book, so there was no record that they were there. At 4:30 p.m., a man passing by heard someone call out from inside the container. He saw a hand throw out a small object wrapped in tissue paper. Inside the note were 2 phone numbers and a message, "Please help us." He tried to call, but he had no airtime. When he finally made the contact, no one believed him until it was too late. At 7 p.m., Leliman got a call. One of the men inside the container had made a call to his wife. They were exposed. The officers panicked. Leliman made a decision to kill all the three that night. He moved them from the container into his car boat. They were handcuffed, silent, and defenseless. They drove into a bush off the highway, close to a busy road. And that's where an argument broke out. One officer requested the three to be released, but Leliman refused, saying they all have to die. According to Ngugi's confession, Mwenda was killed first at 10 p.m. He was taken into the bushes. They used a rope. They strangled him. 1 hour later, Joseph Muiruri, the driver, was also strangled. He was tall, so they folded his body into 2 sacks. Ngugi helped load the bodies into the car. He followed a second vehicle that led the way to Old Donyo Sabuk, over 100 kilometers away. They reached the Athi River in the early morning hours. "We removed the first body and threw it in," Ngugi said, then moved forward and dumped the others. At 4 a.m., they returned to Mlolongo. They proceeded to a local bar, ate food, had beers, and later left one by one. For 8 days, the bodies stayed hidden until the river gave up its secrets. With Peter Ngugi's confession and strong evidence uncovered by investigators, including phone data tracing the suspect movements, bloodstains found in a metal container, and a sack fiber from Leliman's car matching those used to dump the bodies, the case was moved to the High Court of Kenya for trial. At the High Court, Justice Jesse Lesit presided over one of the longest and most closely watched trials in Kenyan history. It will take over 6 years. More than 70 witnesses testified. The prosecution tabled over 100 exhibits. There were court delays, adjournments, and years of waiting, but the families held on. On July 22, 2022, after years in court, Justice Lesit finally delivered her judgment. Her ruling was very clear. The accused persons acted with common intention. The evidence places them at the scene and confirms the dumping of the bodies. This was a well-planned execution. Frederick Leliman, the mastermind, was found guilty. Stephen Cheburet, Sylvia Wanjiku, and Peter Ngugi were also convicted of murder. Only one, Leonard Mwangi, was acquitted. The judge ruled that the evidence against him was not strong enough to convict beyond reasonable doubt. Then came February 3, 2023, the sentencing day. Frederick Leliman was sentenced to death. Though executions are not carried out in Kenya, it remains as the harshest penalty on paper. Stephen Cheburet received 30 years, Sylvia Wanjiku was handed 24 years, and Peter Ngugi, the informant turned killer, got 20 years. It was a moment of relief, but also reflection. After nearly 7 years, justice had arrived. But for many, the pain was still fresh. Willie's widow, quote unquote, said, "At least my husband is not just another statistic. Today, justice has spoken." Human rights groups across Kenya call the judgment historic, a reminder that even police officers, if they murder, can be held to account. But they also warned, hundreds of extrajudicial killings still happen in silence, and most do not end in court. The conviction of the 4 AP officers in Willie Kimani's case was not just about justice. It was about hope, a message to Kenyan's justice system and to its people. The truth matters, the law can work, and that some voices, no matter how buried, will still rise. The convictions brought justice, but not healing. Willie Kimani, Josephat Mwenda, and Joseph Muiruri paid their ultimate price for standing up, speaking out, and simply doing their jobs. Their case sparked a national conversation, and it forced Kenyans to look at its police, its justice system, and its silence. But even after the verdict, the killings continued. In 2024, over 159 people were killed or disappeared in police-linked incidents. In 2025, 31 protesters have been shot dead. Many were young, many never made it home. Still, something has shifted. More people are watching, speaking, and even demanding better. The story didn't end in the river. Willie's name now stands for justice. Josephat Mwenda's defiance lives on, and Joseph Muiruri's quiet dignity reminds us how easily the innocent are caught in the crossfire. Their story did not end in the river. It became a ripple, and it's still moving on. If you found this story powerful, remember to subscribe for more real Kenyan crime stories. Let's bring light to the untold. You can also check out our other episodes covering untold cases across the country, stories that really deserve to be heard. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss a case. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, stay safe.